everyone. Am I audible? Uh, I welcome you all to International Film Festival of India at Goa, where we celebrate the cinematic brilliance of filmmakers worldwide. Now, before we proceed further, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the director of the film, Ashwin Kumar Baluja, and producer Shilpa Dhawan from Clean Productions on the successful completion and premiere of this remarkable movie here at IFFI Goa. It's an honor to host such an exceptional cinematic project. I would like to mention that since this press conference is being live streamed, I kindly request everyone to keep their mobile phones on silent mode to ensure a smoother transaction. Before we proceed, I would request to show the poster of this motion poster of this picture on the screen. Please turn off the lights. Now, I would like to brief about the movie. Mahavatar Narsimha is India's largest and most ambitious animated movie, marking the first time in Indian history that an animation of this caliber has been unveiled. This groundbreaking film brings to life the powerful tales of Lord Vishnu's third and fourth avatars, Varaha and Narsimha, with unprecedented quality and visual artistry set amongst the world of demigods and demons. Demon Hiranyakashyap avenges his brother Hiranyaksha's death by supreme god Vishnu's Varaha avatar. Going through intense penance, he gains the ultimate power to rule over the three worlds. Possessed by invincible boons and blinded by ego, he displaces the balance and declares himself as God. With no one to confront him, his 5 years old son, Prahlad, stands on the virtues against the demon, not sparing even his own son. The demon king devises various ways to kill him. The unshakable faith of this little prince forces the supreme god to manifest as Narsimha's avatar to kill the tyrant and restore the balance. That was all about the movie. To begin our conversation,
Yes.
uh, I would like to invite the director Ashwin Kumar to share his thoughts about the film.
So, Mahavatar Narsimha is the film that has never a film of this animation scale has ever been produced on the Indian screen for an Indian audience. The beautiful part that about this film that I feel personally, as not just as the director of the film, but even as an audience, is that it stays very true to the Shastra and to the source because it has been well researched from the Vishnu Puran, from the Narsim Puran, and Srimad Bhagavat Puran, and including all these sources, the legends, and the lores that are around our predominant deities. And we have simply and very humbly tried to present and preserve this heritage, this culture for our youth, for the future. That was the intent of producing this film.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would request the producer of the film, Shilpa Dhawan, from the film to give her insight about the film.
So, Mahavatar Narsimha is a movie which basically describes our culture, our heritage. And I'm a proud Sanatan, and I feel privileged and blessed to be a part of this project and to show this kind of a content which presents my culture, my heritage, not only even in this country, all over the world. So, the reason I invested in this content is because I want this content to reach every house in the world, and every person on this planet must see the power of our gods, the real gods. And if it touches even 1%, then I will be really thankful to God.
Thank you, ma'am. Before I open the floor for the media, I have some questions to the director.
Bilkul, please.
Sir, what inspired you to delve into India's mythological history and choose a subject that has remained largely unexplored by Indian filmmakers?
Oh, very good. Ashwini, no?
Yes, yes.
I'm Ashwini, he's Ashwini. So, first of all, I don't look at it as a mythology. For me, it is a itihas, which is very old, which is Puran, hence dwelling into the
Truth.
Puranas. For me, it is as sacredly truth than as my own history. Second of all, I was in a space of darkness myself, and when we all are in a space of darkness, we look for anchors of faith, and whatever our faith may be, is always going to be challenged. And this is what the story of Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakt Prahlad, really touched me. And I felt this story needs to go out because when I found my faith back, I knew that there are many people such as me who are also going to dwell into the similar darkness, who are going to need an anchor to pull them back through. And that is why I dwelled into this subject.
Truly said, sir. Uh, ma'am, Shilpa ma'am, what were the challenges of producing such an animation film with such a rich mythological themes that you have to portray on the film?
Well, that's a long story, and there were a lot of challenges because this is our first production. So, and creating a content on animation, because in India the conception of perception of animation is like chote bachcho ke liye, like 5-year old, 6-year old, and we wanted to create an animation which was to be seen by anyone in the world, and in fact all ages. Because if you go abroad and you watch the international Disney quality, तो वहाँ पे देयर इज़ नो स्पेसिफिक एज कि बच्चे ही देखते हैं, पेरेंट्स भी देखते हैं, सब लोग देखते हैं। सो वी वांटेड टू क्रिएट अ कंटेंट व्हिच can attract which is good for every age. So no one would believe our vision initially, of course, and people would think animation India mein nahi chalega, and with that we had a lot of challenges in every aspect. But you know what, once you start something and God is with you, and especially the stories about faith, Prahlad having faith on Lord Narsimha, so our faith was tested several times. In fact, it is still being tested every single day. So, but when God is with you, then you can achieve anything. So, the challenges cannot be counted, but all I can say is when you have a complete faith in God, then all the challenges are taken over by God.
And whenever there's darkness, ultimately the Lord comes. So we are here because this is the place of light. And इससे ज़्यादा highest accolade कुछ हो नहीं सकता. Where we are at IFFI in the Indian panorama with our first film. Lot of love and thanks to all the people who have supported, and even to the Humbale Productions who came on board and is taking this film to en masse around the world in 5 languages. So that shows the power of our Lord.
Thank you, sir. I wish both of you
And
Thank you.
we'll be
the best of luck.
releasing it later
Thank
on
you.
in Japanese, English, everywhere, because we're getting a demand from all the different countries
Yes.
where they have seen the poster and they are really curious and they want to release this movie in their country. So, by God's grace, we're getting a great response for the movie so far.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to open the floor for the media to ask questions. Please.
Hello, my question is to Ashwin sir. Yesterday we had a masterclass about storytelling in the context of filmmaking.
Okay.
So at that in that panel discussion, questions were raised about recently films lacking the depth of research,
Okay.
and in order to overcome that, different versions of the story or epic being combined to overcome that shortcoming. So
Okay.
do you want to comment on that?
See, art is very subjective, and the entire question can actually revolve on the fact ki, how much does art really impact our subconscious in the society, and vice versa, how much the subconscious or the society element affects art. So yes, people can find an easy way through to but it shows if art is lacking heart. Na, agar kisi art mein it lacks heart, then it will show in the art, and eventually it will not sell. So that's the truth about art, because I look at filmmaking as an art. अगर उसमें दिल से काम किया है तो वो दिख जाएगा. Even it may not hit 100% everywhere, but it will hit you the places that it is meant to. So I do believe, yes, people try to cut corners, but one, as an artist, this is the swadharma. This is the religion of an artist to not compromise. Because if the art is not elevating your conscience, then what is the ultimate use of it? That is how I feel about it.
Uh, so this is your debut feature film in animation.
Yes, yes.
So since the VFX and animation is still in nascent phase in India,
Yes.
that has not been explored so far.
Yes.
So since this is your first film also, so
Mhm.
how you came into this idea of animation, and how you what were the challenges that you faced initially in the initial phase?
Okay, so first of all, Indian VFX and animation is very profoundly skilled and rich, because आप जितनी भी international फिल्में देखते हैं, I can use Hindi ना?
हाँ हाँ.
So whatever international films हम देखते हैं, उसमें end, if you roll on to the end credits, so lot of Indian names you will see. But we don't see that reflected into the Indian films to that scale somehow. I think that will be a more appropriate way to put it. But so skill is definitely not the issue in India. So I was convinced about it. Me being a self-trained artist, मैं बचपन से ही I've been into art myself, and I've worked in the VFX and animation field for a decade, and had some experiences. तो the kind of story that we wanted to tell was suited best for animation. उसके दो तीन कारण है, मैं आपको बताऊं. So when you have an animated character, और उसको let's say कोई बहुत उम्दा film you know hero or heroine is voicing the character, so we have the tendency to find the hero's face in that character rather than sticking true to the character as is. So that was one reason we stuck to animation. Second, the leverage that I get into animation is unmatched. मतलब the entire world is under my control. अब चाहे गुड़ गोबर चाहे जो भी हो जाए वो मेरा जिम्मा है. You understand? But if it goes great, that I'm responsible. If it does not go great, I'm also responsible. So I cannot say it was a cinematographer's fault, it was a actor's fault. The buck lies with me. It stops at me. So that was very clear. And since I was trained into animation, and the story like where we are portraying Lord Narsimha with such great detail, Lord Vara in such great detail, Prahlad Maharaj, it's very lifelike animation. So every nuance has to be very meticulously be done, because each frame has 24 to 30 images, और वो frame एक second, that 30 frames is just 1 second, and we produce 5 minutes, and after so much research we do 5 minutes, and if it does not become what we envisioned it to become, we have to go back to the drawing board. So it's a very painful process, but to get into that process, it is the most rewarding process also. So the biggest challenge was that it is a painful process. Painful इसलिए क्योंकि मतलब you have to really work hard. It took 4.5 years to create this piece, and beautiful इसलिए because it is very satisfying, because it produces exactly what I imagined it to be. That was it.
Um, I have another question about picking about the stories. The another thing that came out from that panel discussion was that regional cinema is better at picking stories from our itihas or Puranas as compared to Hindi cinema.
जी.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I partly do agree with this, because when we look at commercial cinema, suddenly the commercials get involved. And when commercials get involved, then we are looking at economics very deeply. And there are certain traits to the economics. So when there is a huge money involved, so you want to be insured as a producer, as a distributor, they want to ensure that the money ki uski recovery ho. So we see a lot of mass stardom in India, which is a good thing also. And that kind of ensures the entire economy ki this is a bankable space to invest on. That is why Mahavatar Narsimha as an animated feature film is also a very huge bravado experimental film, because animation ka us target audience, like Shilpa also said, is never been targeted before. Because animation generally stereotype हमारे हिंदुस्तान में ये है कि it is only for kids. But our animation stands different because we are not only targeting kids. In fact, हमारा जो CBFC certificate is UA. Perhaps we are the only animation in India which is UA certificate, because there's blood and gore in this, right? There are elements that are very deeper and darker in this. So every children that goes there is to be accompanied with the parent, which is good. So the names and glories of the Lord spreads more and more. But that is the truth of the story also. So we have to hold the story in its own merit and ground. उसके principle हम हिला नहीं सकते. भगवान नरसिम्हा अगर फाड़ रहे हैं तो फाड़ रहे हैं. Now I cannot make भगवान नरसिम्हा फाड़ रहे हैं और खून ना निकले. You understand? So it kills the purpose of that story. The demon or the asura needs to be killed the way he is to be killed because he believes in adharma. So the Lord, who is bona fide dharma himself, तो वो तो करेंगे ना नाश शत्रु का. So that is the idea behind it.
Right, sir. My question is to Shilpa ma'am. What are your expectations from the film? Is it purely a commercial venture, or there is some larger goal like reviving our hidden history of India?
Honestly, it's the second point. When we started this movie, I never knew it would go to this budget, which we had gone. But because, as we said, that once content is created, and especially this is our history. I don't want to say it mythology. It's our history, and once it's in the cinema, it's a history for everyone to go for generations, so which cannot be wrong. So we wanted to be very sure whatever we are taking out is perfect. So more than commercial, it was more of a, it's a vision for us. It's not only Mahavatar Narsimha. Our brand is Mahavatar. We'll be releasing other 10 avatars as well. So we are showing 2 avatars in this movie, Vara avatar and Shri Narsimha avatar. Then we have another 8 avatars which will be coming in the form of comics, series, movies, episodes. So our vision is very big. We want to take our Sanatan Dharma everywhere in the world so that our Lord glories are being seen by people and by followed by them as well. So there's a
Jai.
big vision for that.
Sir, would you add into this, sir?
Yeah, and it should make a lot of money also. Like this, yes.
I think
Because
money
we
is a
have to keep doing
byproduct.
this, so we have to make a lot of money. Yes.
So India is a young country, sir,
Hmm.
and most of our stories are largely to the extent they are not aware of it.
Ji.
So do you think that the young audience will find some resonance with these movies, these kind of movies?
See, yes, of course, because ultimately this is a father-son story, if you look at it in one way, and it is also a child abuse story, where you have a demon trying to kill his own son, right? And a father not agreeing with what the son says. How many of us as sons in the family have gone with that, with our fathers? वो तो होता ही है, वो आज भी हो रहा है, and वो सदियों काल से होता आ रहा है. And we hold to, nahi, my father, I am right, and the father says, no, he is right. So that is the kind of conflict which is very interesting. So from time immemorial, we have this kind of a conflict that goes on. But whatever is the ultimate truth will ultimately prevail. That is the truest essence of this story. I'm not saying ki fathers and sons should fight. And but the idea is there has to be a dharmic resolve, and where dharma is prevalent, the Lord is the center, and wherever Lord is the center, everything will be beautiful and fruitful. That is the idea of the film.
True, sir.
And I think it will resonate with the children in all ages, and even people of older age, because the people of older age know this story and इतिहास very well. ये story हमारे भारतवर्ष में हर जगह एक अलग तरीके से बताई जा रही है. In the north, the Holika story is very famous, right? Everybody knows why the Holika Dahan, and we celebrate it. But down south, we have the Lord Narsimha is a Kshetrapal, predominant deity for so many people. कितने लोगों के he is the Isht in south. We have people who are named Narsimha, right? So the story का lore पूरा far and wide है. In fact, you not believe, but even in Pakistan, there is a temple of Prahlad Maharaj where actually the Holika Dahan took place. And we have in near Hyderabad, we have Ahobilam Mutt, which is the actual place where the Lord Narsimha appeared. And there are Nav Narsimha that are being revered there since millennia. So the story और lore ये बहुत बड़ा है, बहुत विशाल है, और उसको हम किस दिशा, किसके हृदय को कैसे टच करेंगे, it's very difficult to say. Yes.
Plus, I feel a good content is a good content. और आज के टाइम पे तो बहुत ज़रूरत है इस तरह के कंटेंट की, बिकॉज़ इट्स just people are into depression. ये young generation तो बहुत ही उनका they are too much insecure और इतना depression में है, so they need stories like these because these kind of stories give them hope कि यार नहीं यार there is a brighter world. So I think it's such a time तो हो ही नहीं सकता था.
Since you touched this part of Narsimha, sir, फ्यूचर में और भी ऐसे प्लान है क्या, मतलब अगर और भी ऐसे themes अगर हमको मिलते हैं और भी stories मिलती हैं तो आप उनके साथ आना चाहेंगे?
या लाइक शिल्पा ऑलरेडी मेंशन, हमारा पूरा महा अवतार का ब्रांड है, जिसके थ्रू थ्रू वीडियो गेम्स, थ्रू कॉमिक्स, थ्रू एनिमेटेड फिल्म्स, live action films, we are going to produce the entire Mahavatar series, which is going to come out to the world in many languages, so that our culture and heritage stays put the way it is supposed to be for the younger generation. Because what we are going to do is going to give them a taste of new age cinema, but our history. That is the idea.
Okay. Any questions? Sir, now I think it's time to wind up. On this great premiere of this movie, I would like to thank the delegates on the dais for the participation today. We hope that the discussion and insights shared today will take this message of the film to the wider audience through the media. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Jai.
So we have a token, sir. Both.